Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to your computer class. Today, we'll continue on the discussion of Chapter 6, which is about social networking. Today, I'll discuss on the advantages and disadvantages of social networking. We also have to discuss using Facebook. You're already known of how to use Facebook, so this subtopic is quite easier. Okay. Then next is common features of social networking. What can we get when we use social network? And then various social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then various tips for using Facebook safely. So as we use social network or social media platforms, of course we have to use it safely, most especially our informations, okay, and the things that we see as well. Okay, now five advantages of social networking. Okay, so when we use social networks, there are many things that we can get. So number one is worldwide connectivity. Number two is commonality of interest. Number three, information sharing. I'll share with you the other two later. So worldwide connectivity, of course, if you have friends who have traveled already abroad, so there is a way to connect our friends nowadays in different countries through social media platforms like Facebook, like Instagram, even WhatsApp as well. There are many apps nowadays, even in our own mobile phones. And then number two, commonality of interest. The thing is, if the people in our social media platforms, whatever our likes or dislikes, we tend to really be with them. Okay. Then number three is real-time information sharing. Many social networking sites incorporate an instant messaging feature, which means you can exchange information in real time via a chat. Okay. So a study by the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation shows these networks can be used as effective vehicles for students to pursue self-paced online learning. Yes, so now that we are in the pandemic situation, how is it possible for us to have this online learning? It's because of social media platforms, because of this social networking site, and we are using WhatsApp this time, right? So there are many ways to really pursue online learning with a social networking. Okay. Number four is free advertising. What does it mean? Whether you are a non-profit organization, you needs to get the word about out about your upcoming fundraiser or a business owner marketing a new product or service, there's no better way to get your message in front of millions of people 24/7. So nowadays, as you can see, we can create groups in any social media platforms and we can have online businesses. And before, as you can see, we only had television before, and those business owners who need to really promote their products, they need to pay the television networks. But nowadays, we can already have free advertising through our own accounts, in any social media platform. So there is free advertising. Number five is increased news cycle speed. I believe that every one of you can relate with this. Nowadays, in terms of news, in just a second, everybody will know. So if we are following a news media platform or news media group, then immediately we will be able to know what are trendings in the world, what are even the current events, not just nationally, not just state level, but internationally across the globe. Yes. Other than the advantages, of course, there are advantages of social networking. So we'll talk at least five of its disadvantages. Number one is face-to-face connections are endangered. So a huge advantage of the social communities has a reverse effect that is also a big disadvantage of social networking. They reduce or eliminate face-to-face socialization. Because of the autonomy afforded by the virtual world, individuals are free to create a fantasy persona and can pretend to be someone else. So from here, you can say that anybody can fake. Okay, so because there is face-to-face interaction, anybody can fake their identity. So that is one of its disadvantages. Then number two is cyberbullying, crime against children. So if you are still like a young age and you already, I know that many of you are already in social media platforms, you used to post this and that, but still you have to be very careful of your post. There will be like bullies, no, we call it cyberbullying, in which they will leave some negative comments or comments that are really a crime, and that it is very dangerous. So use of social networks can expose individuals to harassment or inappropriate contact from others. So we have to be very careful also of the post, and if there are negative comments of our post, we have to just leave it. So nowadays in social media platforms, we can already filter the comments that our post can receive. Okay, this also we can do for that. Number 3 is risk of fraud or identity theft. What does it mean? Whether you like it or not, the information you post on the internet is available to almost anyone who is clever enough to access it. So there are people who are hackers. We call them hackers, in which they will hack our own accounts. So that is why even in Facebook right now, we can already lock our profile. So anyway, at least the social media platforms are already taking some preventions for this thing, but we have to be very careful. So this is one of the advantages. Number 4 is time waster. A Nielsen report explained that social networking can be a big waste of time that sucks 17% of our internet time down the non-productivity drain. So once we are in Instagram, we want to see everybody's post, and we have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and it is actually addictive. So this is one, we are going to waste our time a lot. So what is most important is that once we are in our social media platforms, we should know how to filter the things that we should see, so that we won't really risk, or we won't waste our time. Yes, so what is just valuable to you, that's what we need to see, that's what we need to learn, so that we won't waste our time. So that disadvantages, once again, one of its disadvantages is it wastes really our time. Next is corporate invasion of privacy. Okay, social networking invites major corporations to invade your privacy and sell your personal information. Have you ever posted a comment on Facebook only to notice an advertisement appear with content related to your post? So Facebook projects it will earn $3.8 billion in revenue in 2011. That's not bad for a free site. So if Facebook and other social networking sites don't charge their members, however, how do they make so much money? They do it by selling the ability to specifically target advertisements. As you can notice this time, whenever you are going to scroll, it's not just your friends posts you will see, but many advertising agencies, many advertisements you can see. So that's how the social networking are earning. Yeah, so whatever our interest, it will just pop up. Oh, this is the one. Okay, so that's how social networking sites earn a lot. Okay, so it's like the social media platforms are actually a corporation, no, of invading our privacy. Okay, are social networks harmful to society or not? Actually, the answer is not fixed yet. Okay, because it's still new, a new trend. So what is most important, that if you are getting into it, you should understand what you are getting into, understand the terms of use, the rules and regulations, and be clear on issues like security and privacy. Take responsibility for your own safety and integrity, and never join something just because it is trend or all of your friends are doing it. So you need to know what you are getting into. Okay, various social networking sites. Number 1 is Facebook. So Facebook was founded in 2004 by a Harvard University student. I believe everybody knows Mark Zuckerberg, and originally called the Facebook. So it was quickly successful on campus and expanded beyond Harvard into other Ivy League school, and that is why we ourselves are also using Facebook. So Zuckerberg and Moskovitz left Harvard to run the Facebook full-time shortly after taking the site national. Okay, so that is all about Facebook. Next is MySpace. So it is a social networking service just like Facebook, owned by Pacific Media LCC and Justin Timberlake, a pop singer. So the site was founded in 2003 by Chris DeWolf and Tom Anderson. Okay. So have LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is other social networking website, but is mainly used by the professionals for developing their professional network. The service was founded in December 2002 by Reid Hoffman along with the other members and launched it in May 2003. Okay, so how to use Facebook. Okay, so how to use social networking site? First, we have to go to the website like www.facebook.com. But nowadays, since we can access Facebook in our own mobile phones, we just have to install the app and register. Now, this time, make our profile. So after going to the app or the website, then we have to open our own profile and we have to input all the necessary informations required by the social media platform. Then we have to upload our photo. Actually, in uploading photo, we have also, of course, choices or option. Okay. Then we have completed a profile with step by step, and then groups can be created by users. So when you have social media platforms like Facebook, you can create groups. Okay, and then if you want to share anything with your friends, then type it in the status box showing what's on your mind and click post. That is timeline, posting something in our timeline. 7, 8, and 9, it is all about liking the post of your friend, making comments. We can already make comments. Then we have, if we want to close our Facebook account, then we have to go to home drop button on the extreme to top right of the Facebook window and click log out. So if we want to log out, then we have to go to the log out button. Okay, tips for using Facebook safely. Number 1, stop search engines from indexing your profile. And then number 2, block someone on Facebook. Number 3, public computer, use a one-time password. Number 4, block an app from accessing your information. So the steps are being shown here. Number 5, remove something from your timeline. If you or someone else has put something on your timeline which you want to remove, it's pretty easy to do. Okay, we can hide it from our own timeline. Okay, this is the last one. Tips for using Facebook safely for teens. Number 1, don't register for an account until you're 13. So if you are still 12 years old, as much as possible, you don't open an account. Number 2, don't use your real first or middle name. So it's for teens, you have to hide at least your identity. Number 3, set strong privacy settings. So in Facebook or any social media platforms, there are ways in which you can set your privacy. Okay, number 4, don't post any contact information on your profile. As much as possible, since you are in your teenage time, you don't give your informations like your phone number or you have email address like that. Do you understand? The number 5, don't ever post your location or that you are home alone. So we don't, in this world there are so many evildoers as well. So we need to be very careful. So if you are having your social media accounts, then you don't post your locations. Number 6, report any abusive posting or harassment. So if you ever feel threatened by anyone on Facebook, or someone is harassing you by sending unwanted Facebook messages or posting something abusive in your public wall, report it by clicking the report abuse link on the post. If someone posts a picture of you that you don't like, you have the right and the ability to untag yourself. So these are all the options that we can do as well if we have received abusive posts or comments. So let's summarize what we have learned from this chapter. Number 1 is social networking is an online internet service facilitates the people to build social relationship, and then most of these services are available free of cost, making it a cost-effective method to reach people. LinkedIn is mainly used by the professional for developing their professional network. Then MySpace was world's #1 social networking site from 2005 to 2008. Facebook is a social networking website intended to connect friends, family, and business associates. Then Facebook's founder is Mark Zuckerberg. So students, after watching this video, I want you to also read your book entirely. Okay, you have to read your book after watching this video. Okay, and then send me your homework on time. That's all for this week. Thank you so much for learning with me.